spill.
Senator Cameron.
Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. Well, we have just heard Senator Madigan's Stop the Planet I Want to Get Off bill. I mean, that's what this is. We have, around the world, wind power being installed at an unheard-of level. I used to work at Liddell Power Station, a coal-fired power station, 2,000 megawatt power station, one of the big power stations in Australia. And in 2012 alone, to try and get some understanding of what's happening with wind power, around the world there is 238 gigawatts of wind power installed around the world, about 119 Liddell power stations, a huge investment in wind power all around the world. And if you look at the International Energy Association website and you go to what's targeted for wind power around the world, well, wind power is targeted to pick up 12% of energy needs by 2050. That requires 47 gigawatts of installation of wind power every year for the next 40 years. It's $81 billion a year in investment. Now, Senator Madigan said that this was a billion-dollar industry. Senator Madigan, it's not a billion-dollar industry. It's a trillion-dollar industry. The industry will have to invest $3.2 trillion through to 2050 to meet that 12% of wind energy by 2050. And Senator Madigan throws these words around that the wind energy industry can do whatever it likes. The system allows it to do whatever it likes. Well, Senator Madigan, I didn't see you sleeping through any of the evidence, so you have obviously ignored much of the evidence. You obviously haven't read the evidence from the Queensland Conservative government, who say that they have got stringent regulation in place, that they don't want an industry to operate without any regulation, and that the regulations that are in by the state governments around this country are amongst the most stringent regulations anywhere in the world. Well, I've just got a little bit of an issue with Senator Madigan's approach on this, because I'd like to remind the Senate why we need renewable energy. Because the climate science is in, Senator Madigan. You can't continue to believe that the climate science is not there and that this is some kind of conspiracy by the wind power industry or some group of bankers in Zurich or somewhere. This is a real problem, and it's a problem the world is struggling to deal with. And wind energy is one of the key components to try and deal with this issue of global warming and climate change. Now, I know many senators in this place are either sceptics, deniers, conspiracy theorists, or just political opportunists on this energy. Well, I'll take that interjection by Senator Williams, who said, no, we're just realists. Well, Senator Williams, the realists around the world are people like the World Bank, not some left-wing conspiracy, trying to knock over, and create a world government. They are saying that there are significant problems. There are significant problems. And Senator Williams, let me remind you of the Australian Academy of Science 2010 report. They're being realist. They are the realists on this issue. They put out a report, The Science of Climate Change, Questions and Answers. Go and have a look at it, Senator Williams. Have a look at what it says. And they try to address the confusion created by contradictory information in the public domain. Obviously, Senator Williams, you haven't read it. I remind senators of the 2011 CSIRO report, Climate Change Science and Solutions for Australia. That report draws on the latest peer-reviewed literature contributed by thousands of researchers in Australia and internationally, and it provides a synthesis of CSIRO's long history of public-funded research over several decades. Obviously, Senator Williams, you haven't read that either. It highlights the importance of climate change as a matter of significant environmental concern in Australia, and provides the latest information on international climate change science and the responses. It highlights the importance of climate change as a matter of significant environmental concern in Australia, and provides the latest information on international climate change science and response. But if you want to be a denier, if you want to be a sceptic, if you want to listen to Alan Jones, you won't believe it. You'll say the scientists are wrong. The CSIRO's got it wrong. The Academy of Science has got it wrong. But let me tell you, I would take those bodies before I'd listen to Alan Jones any day, because I'm concerned about the future for my grandkids and the kids that are being born in Australia today. They have to have a future, and part of that future is wind farms. Part of that future is renewable energy. And it's absolutely important that we deal with this on the basis of science and not groups that are running around trying to instill fear in local communities and creating the problems that local communities are feeling because they are out there fear-mongering about wind farms. Now, it's not just the scientists that are worried. The Catholic Church is worried, Senator Madigan. And I would ask you to go and have a look at the Pontifical Academy of Sciences report in 2011. I notice that you're smiling. I'm not sure if you've read that report, Senator Madigan, but I'm sure it would certainly educate you a little bit about what the scientific issues are. And what the Vatican did was bring together a number of the world's most eminent scientists on climate change. And what that report said was that global warming and climate change is a real problem. Icebergs are falling into the sea. Glaciers are retreating. The sea level is rising. And you can sigh, Senator Madigan. You can sigh all you want. But I'll tell you, I would listen to these bodies before I would listen to the Warborough Foundation, who probably wrote your speech for you. I mean, the report from the Pontifical Academy of Science calls on all people and all nations to recognise the serious and potentially irreversible impacts of global warming caused by anthropogenic emissions of greenhouse gases. Now, Senator Madigan, go down and see your local representative of the Vatican in Australia, talk to them, get a copy of the report. I'll send you it if you like. But I can tell you they are equally concerned about this as the scientists in Australia. Now, remind senators of the Bureau of Meteorology's State of the Climate 2012 report, which provides an updated summary of long-term climate trends. It notes that long-term warming trends has not changed, with each decade having been warmer than the previous decade since the 1950s, and it goes on and on. And last week, the World Bank released its contribution to this issue in a report called Turn Down the Heat. The report provides a snapshot of recent scientific literature and a new analysis on the impacts and risks that could be associated with a 4 degrees Celsius warming this century. It outlines a range of risks focusing on developing countries and especially the poor. Now, the report describes a number of meteorological record-breaking events, and it goes to England and Wales, the wettest autumn on record since 1766. In Europe, the hottest summer in the last 500 years. England and Wales, May to July, wettest since records began in 1766. Victoria in Australia, heat waves, many station temperature records. Western Russia, the hottest summer since 1500. Pakistan, rainfall records. The Western Amazon, drought, record low level in Rio Negro, and I can go on and on. Yet we still have people who say that global warming and climate change is not real. And I go to those points because, Senator Madigan, I don't believe the issue of wind turbines is the issue with you.
Senator Cameron, I'll remind you to address your comments through the Chair.
So, I apologise, Chair. Through the Chair, my view is that Senator Madigan's position is not about wind turbines. It's not a concern about the people that have got a problem. Underlying it is his fundamental denial that there is a problem with changing climate around the world. I'm convinced of that.